Today, millions of people live their lives almost on autopilot. They drift along the current of their emotions, lose control to their anger, and most importantly, rarely use the full power of their mind. But some people are different. They're calm, yet they see everything. They analyze every situation, control their emotions, and know how to turn life in their favor. In this video, I'm going to share 8 powerful Stoic lessons that can truly change your life. Lessons that can make you dangerously intelligent. But the real point is this: these lessons can also turn you into the master of your own life. If you want to discover them, stay with me until the end of the video. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next ones. Now let's begin. Lesson 1. Take control of your emotions. Most people today make decisions not with reason, but with emotion. Someone says something, we get irritated. Someone disrespects us, we get angry. Something doesn't go according to plan, we panic. And at that moment, it's no longer our mind that's in control, it's our emotions. But think for a second. What if in every moment of anger, frustration or anxiety, you could simply tell yourself, stop? How powerful would you become? Because it's not other people who defeat you, it's your reaction to them. The Stoics said, it's not the event that disturbs you, but your interpretation of it. If someone treats you unfairly and you rush to respond, you've already entered their game. They control you. But dangerously intelligent people don't do that. They stay calm. They observe. They analyze the situation and wait for the right moment. Silence may look like weakness, but in reality, it's the highest form of strength. Because when you remain calm, the other person drowns in their own emotions. The more they shout, the quieter you become. The more they try to provoke you, the more you smile. Controlling your emotions is like taming a wild horse inside you. If you let go of the reins, it takes you wherever it wants. But when you hold the reins firmly, you decide the direction. Wise people know that emotions are not the enemy. They are tools. They channel their anger, fear, and even rage toward the right purpose. They don't suppress their emotions, they command them. Remember, it's not the words that hurt you, but the meaning you attach to them. It's not the people who make you angry, but the emotions they awaken within you. If you learn to own those emotions, no one can ever pull you into their game again. From this moment on, whenever you get angry, ask yourself, am I reacting with thought or just with emotion? If your answer comes from thought, you've already taken control of your life. And that's the exact moment you begin to become dangerously intelligent. Lesson 2. Plan every move you make. Being wise is not a gift of luck. It's the result of thought. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Their philosophy of life was built on planning and intention. They believed that chaos exists only in the minds of those who do not think. Because a person without a plan is like a ship moved by the direction of the wind. When the wind blows, it simply drifts wherever it's taken. But for a person with a plan, the wind becomes a tool. They know how to make it serve their direction. For the Stoics, every morning was a ritual. When they woke up, they asked themselves, what will I live for today? Where will I direct my energy? They didn't live their days by accident. They lived with purpose. Every word, every step, every decision was deliberate. They knew that making a plan isn't just about controlling the future. It's about understanding the present. Our biggest problem is that we act out of emotion too often. When we're angry, we respond immediately. When we're afraid, we withdraw. When we're excited, we decide without thinking. But the Stoics said, think before you act, because every action without thought takes you further from your goal. In other words, pausing before reacting, that's the first instinct of a disciplined mind. A person who plans their life stays in control. They understand that today's actions are the seeds of tomorrow's results. That's why every step, every conversation, every decision is part of a larger strategy. Nothing is random. Even standing still, even remaining silent can be a deliberate act. Because sometimes the strongest move is no move at all. The Stoics said, if you don't make a plan, you'll end up serving someone else's. This is a profoundly deep idea, because a person without a plan is not the author of their life. They're merely a character in someone else's story. But a person with a plan writes their own. Yes, living with a plan may seem strict at times, but in truth it's the purest form of freedom. Because when you know what you want, no one can manipulate you. Every reaction, every decision becomes your choice, not someone else's. The goal of the Stoics was never perfection. Their goal was awareness, to live each day a little clearer, a little more purposeful, a little more calm. Third Stoic lesson: accept the weaknesses of others. The Stoics never tried to change people because they knew that was the greatest waste of energy. They understood one essential truth: everyone has a weak point. For some it's ego, for others fear, and for many it's the fear of being alone. A wise person sees these weaknesses but never exploits them. They simply understand, observe, and adjust their behavior accordingly. This isn't cruelty, it's deep observation. Stoic thought teaches us that understanding a person is far more powerful than controlling them, because understanding brings control. When you understand why people act the way they do, you stop reacting, you simply observe. Imagine someone shouting at you or insulting you. Your first instinct is to respond. But if you realize that their shouting comes from fear or a loss of control, you begin to stay calm. You no longer see their behavior as an attack on you, but as a reflection of their own weakness. That realization puts you in a position of strength. The Stoics said, "What angers a man reveals his weakness." So, accepting the weaknesses of others gives you both empathy and strategic advantage. Because when you understand why people act as they do, their behavior no longer surprises or provokes you. The first step to developing this ability is to approach others with empathy, to ask, why did they do that? Instead of how dare they? Every angry outburst, every harsh word is simply a symptom of an inner fear. Some fear being unloved, some fear losing respect, and others fear appearing weak. Once you see these weaknesses, you no longer get angry. You become a calm observer, and that gives you emotional power. Remaining calm in any situation is the truest sign of strength. Because calmness is neither indifference nor cowardice, it's complete self-control. If you can accept the weaknesses of others, you'll no longer feel the need to change them. You'll understand that everyone is at a different stage of growth. Some lack mental maturity, others are still ruled by emotion, and that's okay. Not everyone will think like you. Not everyone will react like you. This understanding will make you both patient and strategic. You'll stop measuring your worth by how others treat you. If someone treats you badly, you'll know it comes from their own emptiness. You'll simply smile and think, this is not my problem, it's theirs. And in that moment, you'll remain emotionally superior. Because the more you analyze others' behavior, the better you understand your own emotions too. Seeing weakness in others makes you stronger, but accepting it makes you wise. And wisdom is a weapon not everyone holds. Fourth lesson: turn obstacles into allies. The Stoics said, every obstacle is part of the path to success. It sounds simple, yet it holds a profound truth, because the meaning of life is hidden in how we view our difficulties. A person who sees obstacles as enemies will always run, tire, and eventually give up. But one who sees obstacles as allies learns, grows, and becomes stronger. Everyone faces challenges, no one can escape them. The difference is this: some people surrender to them, while others transform them into opportunities. Stoic philosophy reminds us, it's not what happens to you that defines you, it's how you respond. This is a mindset. If you see an obstacle as something that stopped you, your brain instantly goes into defense mode. But if you say, this will help me grow, that obstacle becomes your teacher. Imagine a door closing in your face. Most people immediately feel defeated and think, that's it. But from a Stoic point of view, you think, if this door closed, another, perhaps a better one, will open. That simple shift restores your emotional strength, because you're no longer losing, you're learning. Marcus Aurelius said, the obstacle in the way becomes the way. Every challenge you face is not there to stop you, but to shape you. Every time life tests you, it's actually giving you a new skill. So whenever you face difficulty, pause and ask yourself, what is this situation trying to prepare me for? That one question can change your entire perspective, because if you can keep that mindset, no problem will ever break you again. Your obstacles are not your enemies, they're your hidden allies. And once you learn to live with them, fear loses all its power over you. Fifth lesson, make decisions in your calmest moments. The Stoics believed that a person's greatest strength lies in their calmness, because calmness opens the door to mental clarity. A decision made in anger often brings regret, but a decision made in stillness is thoughtful, measured, and wise. Truly intelligent people know that great ideas don't come from chaos, they're born in silence. We all have moments when emotions take over, when we're angry, fearful, or anxious. And too often, we make our biggest decisions in those moments. But the Stoics taught that a decision made in emotion is a decision made by impulse, not reason. If you're not calm, it's not really you deciding, it's your feelings deciding for you. That's why wise people don't rush. They take a step back, breathe deeply, and observe. Because calmness lets you see reality as it truly is. If the water is muddy, you can't see the bottom. But when it settles, everything becomes clear. The mind works the same way. If it's clouded by emotion, you can't make a clear choice. Calmness also acts as a mask. When you make decisions in your still moments, people can't read you. They see you not as impulsive or predictable, but as composed and mysterious. That gives you psychological power, because whoever can't understand you can't control you. Imagine someone trying to provoke you. If you react immediately, you've entered their game. But if you stay silent and simply observe, they're left alone with their own chaos. Your silence drains their power. That's true control. For the Stoics, calmness wasn't just an emotional state, it was a strategy. They believed that a still mind is sharper than any sword, because it doesn't merely react, it directs. They made decisions not out of emotion, but from understanding. And this applies to every area of life. Work, relationships, friendships, even daily conversations. If you approach every situation with calmness, you've already won, because you remain in control. Emotional explosions are signs of weakness. Calmness is the sign of mastery. Truly dangerous minds make their decisions in silence, because silence opens the mind. There's no manipulation, no fear, no panic there, only clarity. They know that everyone's emotions burn like fire. They flare up and fade away. But calmness is like a steady flame. It gives light without destruction. To make calm decisions is to truly know yourself, because in those moments of stillness you see who you really are. And if you can protect your mind even in silence, you've already learned the art of self-mastery. Sixth lesson, shatter illusions. The world is full of illusions. Most people live these illusions as if they were the truth. They believe that money, status, approval from others, or social appearance are the purpose of life. But for the Stoics, all of these were empty. They said, true power lies in seeing the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. Illusion is comfortable because it comes without pain. It convinces us that everything is fine, but that comfort is dangerous. It keeps you from growing. Truth, on the other hand, is sometimes cold, sometimes harsh, but it brings freedom. If you want to become dangerously intelligent, the first step is this: shatter illusions. What is an illusion? It's seeing reality the way you want, rather than the way it actually is. People often avoid the truth because it shakes their ego. Some think they are wise, but the moment they hear criticism, they immediately go on the defensive. Some say everything is fine in a relationship, while inside everything is falling apart. Some say I am happy, yet quietly cry at night. The Stoics said, what causes you pain is often the truth that will set you free. If an idea makes you uncomfortable, that's where growth lies. Truth shakes you because it wakes you from sleep. A dangerously intelligent person does not run from this shaking. They do not deceive themselves. They do not fear facing the cold sides of life. They know that only by accepting the truth can one possess real power. Illusion flatters you with beauty, but reality makes you grow. This applies to every area of life. Take money, for example. Many believe that money equals freedom. But from a Stoic perspective, money is merely a tool, not a goal. If you let money define your value, you are not truly free. The same is true for status, fame, and recognition. These are fleeting, and if you cling to them, when they disappear, you will lose yourself as well. Freedom from illusions is not losing yourself, it is finding yourself. Because you begin to see the world free from false masks. You start to recognize who is genuine, who is fake, whose strength comes from within, and whose comes from appearances. This awareness makes you stronger, both mentally and emotionally. Consider this example. You look in a mirror and don't like what you see. It's an unfiltered truth, but instead of running from it, if you accept it, you have already begun the process of change. For the Stoics, truth is like that mirror. It may sometimes be unpleasant, but it shows you who you really are. Shattering illusions also requires courage, because it means facing yourself, your fears, weaknesses, and ego. It is not easy, but this confrontation shapes you. Those who run from truth remain trapped in repeated mistakes. Those who face the truth do not repeat the same errors. As the Stoics said, what frightens a man is not reality, but his ideas about reality. Most of the time we fear not events themselves, but what we imagine them to be. Truth breaks this fear. A dangerously intelligent person opens their eyes and sees the world in all its nakedness. They avoid comforting lies, empty words, and false glitter, because they know only a clear mind creates a clear life. Seeing the truth may be painful, but that pain will set you free. And one day, looking back, you will realize every illusion you have shattered has made you just a little stronger. Seventh lesson, protect your time. The seventh lesson is the most important and essential in life. It's all about time. That's why the Stoics always said, guard your time. In today's world, protecting your time almost requires heroism. Social media, endless notifications, meaningless conversations, people dragging you into their dramas. All of these steal your focus and your time. And focus is in essence your time. If you want to become dangerously intelligent, the first thing you must learn is this: Choose carefully whom and what you give your attention to. Think for a moment. How many times a day do you check your phone? How often do you spend time on pointless conversations? At the end of the day, take account. How many minutes or hours of your life have you given away to these distractions? The Stoics said, time spent without reflection is time unlived. A dangerously intelligent person does not spend their time like money. They invest it. They understand that every yes they give is in effect a no to something else. By giving time to everyone and everything, you lose your own. One of the smartest decisions in life is learning when to say no. Protecting your time is also protecting yourself, because the way you spend your time shapes the life you live. If you waste it on emptiness, emptiness grows inside you. But if you fill each day with purpose and value, your life deepens. The Stoics ask themselves every morning, will today align with my values? This question seems simple, but it holds incredible power. It prevents you from living automatically. It forces you to think, choose, and steer your life intentionally. Yes, life will test you. People will demand your time, and the social world will constantly distract you. But every time you say, this is taking my time, you regain control. Time is your quietest yet most loyal ally. If you lose it, it leaves silently and never returns. So if you want to become dangerously intelligent, make a decision today. Guard your time. Live every minute with purpose, because the deepest wisdom lies in the hands of those who understand the value of time. 8th lesson, always preserve your inner calm. The strongest person is not the one who raises their voice, but the one who can quiet it within. For the Stoics, true power was measured not by how loudly you could shout, but by how calmly you could remain. They knew that without inner calm, the mind loses control. Calm is not simply standing still. It is the ability to appear steady even when a storm rages inside you. In life, calm is a shield. It protects you from hasty decisions, emotional reactions, and the manipulations of others. If you can remain calm, you have already gained the upper hand. The most important weapon of a dangerously intelligent person is this: calmness. They do not react to the haste, anxiety, or emotional outbursts of others. They observe, because the observer is always one step ahead of the reactor. A calm person silently reads everyone who is afraid, who lies, who is trying to defend themselves. Calmness also preserves your energy. Every time you react to a needless argument, an unnecessary explanation, or a thoughtless comment, you are dispersing your power. The Stoics said, if everyone can excite you, it means you do not own yourself. Every moment of anger, every reaction, is giving control to someone else. This is not just psychological power, it is strategic intelligence. People are confused by calmness. They expect you to defend yourself, to respond, to explain. But when you stay calm, their energy goes to waste. They do not know how you will react, because you do not enter the game. In that moment, control is entirely yours. Inner calm is also a sign of self-confidence. A self-assured person does not feel the need to prove anything. They understand that time and behavior are their strongest answers. They do not act in panic because they know everything flows in its own course. Calmness is the deepest form of intellect. A calm person learns to listen, and listening is the beginning of understanding. The more you listen, the more you notice that most people cannot endure silence. They speak to calm themselves. But if you are accustomed to silence, you are already in the superior position. Remember, the greatest victories in life are often won quietly. The most important turning points come from calm decisions. So whenever you are caught in the noise, tell yourself, my calm is my power, and learn to protect that power. because a silent person can become the most dangerously intelligent person. Thank you for watching this far. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. As always, I leave you with the hope of remaining silent. See you in the next video.